Do you want to come on an historical adventure? Join us as we take our motorhome over to explore the D-Day landings in Normandy and find out more about the brave young men that liberated Europe. We are now in Normandy, and it's time to look further into the events that occurred during the Second World War.
Bayeux was the first French town of importance to be liberated after D-Day by British forces on June the 7th. It is here that the largest Commonwealth Cemetery of the Second World War in France is situated. Bayeux War Cemetery was completed in 1952 and contains 4,144 Commonwealth burials from the Second World War. There are also over 500 war graves of other nationalities, the majority being German. 338 of them are unidentified. The Bayeux Memorial stands opposite the cemetery and bears the names of more than 1,800 men of the Commonwealth who died in the early stages of the campaign and have no known grave. And all these white posts leading down are for all the reporters from media who have ever died, not just through the First and Second World War, but continuously.
Well, here we are at the Battle of Normandy Museum for D-Day. Yeah, we stayed overnight. It's £5.50 from, I think it's 6:30 in the evening till 8 o'clock in the morning. But during the day it's free parking.
There's quite a few spaces around, but again, it is on a main road. So, but yeah,
Lovely spot. And also very good for easy access into Bayeux itself, which takes about 5-10 minutes to walk down to, and then obviously the museum
it's just over here, literally 2 minutes walk away.
And you've also got the cemetery, which is just further down. I'd say that's about a 5-minute walk away from here. The Battle of Normandy Museum is open 7 days a week between 10 AM and 6 PM. The cost of admission is €7.50. It tells the story for the Normandy battle, which lasted from the 6th of June until the 30th of August 1944. There is also a documentary which is well worth a watch, known as Normandy 44 Decisive Victory in the West, using actual footage and images from the archives. So after a day at the Battle of Normandy Museum for D-Day and seeing the cemetery and also the Bayeux Tapestry as well. So we're now heading to Omaha Beach, which is the start of our tour of the D-Day landings. It's Colville Samare, I believe it's called, which is where we're heading to. Hopefully got a park up down there that we've found. But yeah, it's been a lovely time, if not poignant, in Bayeux. But well worth the visit. So 20-minute drive up from Bayeux, and we're now here at Omaha Beach, and here we have the memorial
For the Americans that landed on this shore on the 6th of June 1944, D-Day. The whole area must have been frightening,
especially for these young GIs that didn't have a clue of what was going to be happening or how they were going to deal with this. They were just given orders and told to go.
These are the cliffs I had to penetrate, the Americans, and climb up there. Heavily defended on the top by concrete bunkers and Germans. Who knows what they were going through.
But they made it. And they managed to secure Saint Laurent, which was the start of their journey inland to secure other areas.
And this is a sculpture of Les Braves. This sculpture is created in honour of the courage of these men, sons, husbands and fathers, who endangered and often sacrificed their life in the hope of restoring their freedom to the French people. And it's actually made of 3 elements: the wings of hope, so that the spirit that carried these men on June the 6th, 1944 continued to inspire us, reminding us that together it is always possible to change the future. Rise, freedom, so that the example of those who rose against the barbarianism helps us remain standing up against all forms of inhumanity. And the wings of fraternity, so that this surge of brotherhood always reminds us of our responsibility towards others as well as ourselves. On the 6th of June 1944, these men were more than soldiers, they were our brothers.
So we've pulled up on another air for this evening, and it's called Le Spot de Saint Laurent. It's a camping car air. It's actually at the back of a house, so it's a private one.
But you do have water, and you've got loo drop as well.
Sun's going down. Hopefully red sky at night. It's supposed to be beautiful in the morning, but we will see. And we've parked right here, and the only reason we parked right in the front is because the ground is a bit soggy. But yeah, hopefully it's going to be quiet. I think it will be, because there's no one else around. It's on a little lane really, so but easy enough to get our motorhome down. So yeah, the fella come out and see us when we got here. €12 a night. It's a 15-minute walk down to the beach as well, Omaha Beach. So we're moving on now. We're going to the museum, and then from there we're going to head further down the beach and see what we can find. Hopefully find a couple of bunkers we can go in and take it from there really.
We left our park up and drove a short distance to the Overlord Museum in Cornwall-sur-Mer, next to the American Military Cemetery. The cost of the entrance is €9.50 for an adult. The Overlord Museum is open 7 days a week from 9:30 to 7 p.m, although these times do vary out of season, and it is closed throughout January. The museum was founded by Michael Leloup, who witnessed D-Day from the ground as a 15-year-old French schoolboy. Unfortunately, he died in 2011 before the opening of the museum, which opened in 2013. Today it is run by his son, Nicholas. With over 10,000 items and 40 vehicles, tanks and cannons, many in lifelike scenarios, the Overlord Museum was, in our opinion, the best museum that we visited, and is highly recommended.
So we are at L'Ange de Mer, which is part of the Atlantic Wall, which was built by the Germans during the Second World War. Now it's here that the last battery remains. There are 4 batteries, 4 guns. Each casemate that covered the guns was 10 metres wide, 15 metres deep, with walls 2 metres thick. From January 1944, Allied observation aircraft have been taking aerial photographs of Long-sur-Mer. To preserve the element of surprise and secrecy concerning the location of D-Day, the battery was bombed once, a few weeks before the landings.
This is gun battery number 4. It's these guns that caused a lot of damage and also caused a big threat during D-Day for both Omaha Beach and Gold Beach, where the Allied troops were landing. Oh, what's he up to? It's old Tarzan.
We fought, we conquered. The Atlantic Wall, which stretched 4,000 kilometres from Spain to Norway and was a German defence against attack from the North Sea out there. It was heavily defended. The Allies didn't try bombing it until a couple of days before D-Day, so not to give the game away. They bombed it on the morning of D-Day as well from the ships in the sea there. It finally surrendered to the British when they landed on Gold Beach just down the bottom there.
And this is the outpost where they would sit and wait to see if anything come across the channel. As soon as they knew, they would let the battery know so that they could fire.
In the late afternoon, having fired more than 110 times and suffered considerable damage, the battery was violently silenced. We are now at Arromanches-les-Bains, which is Gold Beach, where the British troops arrived on D-Day. From here, they were due to meet up with the Americans and the Canadians from either side as they made their way into France and took Bayeux. Now, what we also have here is an artificial port which was built by the British so that they could bring in all their equipment and that from across the water. All in all, between June and November 1944, they brought 549 tonnes of equipment and troops.
We are so lucky.
We have actually hit the tide here just right, as we have done on the beaches. Through coming down here, it's all kind of worked out quite well on our behalf with the tide being out. You also got the remains over that side too, further out in the water.
So this is part of the artificial port. This is concrete that was brought over from Great Britain. It took them a while to get all this over with, hence it actually halted the fighting that was going on so that they could get all this kind of over and up as soon as possible. And they also scuttled ships to also help with the defences around. This is a pretty cool bit of kit.
This was one of two whole Mulberry Harbours. There was the second one being built behind us at Omaha Beach for Americans, but unfortunately there was a great storm. I think it was about the 21st of June, and it pretty much wrecked it. So they abandoned that in the end and just used this one until they could secure Cherbourg, the harbour, and use that as a proper port. So, big day, museums, beaches, 1944 D-Day, now relaxing, there's a little bar in, what time are we in? Near Sword Beach, we're on Sword Beach, we had a big day.
Gold Beach.
Gold Beach.
We're on Gold Beach.
Gold
That'll do.
Beach. Just chilling out now. We've had dinner.
2 bags of crisps.
2 bags of crisps. Sorted by a few glasses of wine. We've got a big day ahead tomorrow. We've got a lot to see before we go back to Bayeux. So she's doing research and all sorts.
I'm trying to work out where. Aramange Le Bon.
That's exactly where we are.